missed it. I'm like, at that time, I was like, man, I really don't miss the coaching and the stuff like that. And I still, to this day, it really hasn't sparked. I mean, my knowledge is still there, but I just don't have that. But now I'm more about promoting now. I like to promote. I like to talk, kind of ran it by DP.
Yeah.
I'm like, DP, I'd like to do maybe some football play-by-play next year. So hopefully maybe that'll be my next thing to come true. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do that.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
And we're still working.
You're still working on getting Preston tied in?
I think we're getting closer. We're getting closer. So
is he called for our listeners? We have a great guest. That's what Raff mentioned in our post and on social media. We brought Hollywood tonight. We're working on Hollywood. Working on getting him on the set. Pun intended.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We got plenty of time, so we'll find him. We will find him one way or the other.
Well, dude, I'm gonna switch it over like this way to the listeners out there. There was there's been a lot of interesting things going on, and I don't want to, skip ahead to our second hour, but I do want to just, Raff, let me ask you this, man. Let's say you're coaching again, all right, and the NIL comes into play. Then you have a transfer portal. Now, the transfer portal, a lot of folks don't know, and many people do know. It just wasn't as prominent as it is right now. The transfer portal's been around now how many years, man?
Oh, I think it's been around forever, I guess, in a way. It's just you just had to sit out a year.
You had to sit out a year. Now that when they changed that rule that you no longer had to sit out a year, it changed everything. So people weren't as quick to go someplace knowing that I'm going to have to sit out a year if I go someplace. Now that they can play right away, it's changed everything up. You're coaching right now at University Raff. We're just going to call it that.
Good school.
How would you deal with that right now, though, as a coach? I've never been a coach at the level you were. How would you deal with those situations right now?
You've got to recruit your own team constantly. I mean, it's crazy. And who was I talking to? A lot of college coaches are also, they're to that point where they don't want to do it no more. And some of them are retiring. Some of them are looking at NFL jobs and stuff like that, because I mean, you definitely, it's one of those things. I mean, if you're not recruiting constantly, there's a chance, you're going to lose those players. But on the opposite is being recruiting constantly. You're recruiting other players constantly. So I know that the NIL and stuff like that, and a lot of these players are like, well, I'm going to go find my money and, I'm going to find my best situation. Well, these coaches are in the same situation. I mean, that transfer portal is like free agency, and there's going to come a time where maybe, say, Nebraska, for instance, finds somebody to fill a slot for somebody else, because these scholarships are only 1 year binding contracts. So it's going to get crazy. I think the loyalty that was once there from a college, usually if you signed your letter of intent, pretty much you were guaranteed 4 years of a scholarship. But now it's to the point now that 1 year is really going to be 1 year, because if something else better comes along, then so be it, because the players have got to that point. Coaches are at that point. So now it's a very scary world that we're living in college sports. I hope that something can eventually be done, because I don't think it can sustain itself for a long period of time before everything just falls through, unfortunately.
Two things that you said right there that I think are critical in that, and it's like that in corporate America. It's like that, I would say, in relationships, whatever you want to put it. You have to keep recruiting your own team.
Correct.
You got to know the pulse of your team. You got to know what's going on. One thing about Coach Osborne, and I'm only bringing him up because that's who I played for. Coach Osborne made it a point at least once a year, and this is probably actually more than once a year, about twice a year. And this is besides all the other interactions in the weight room, training room, practice field, etc. He made it a point to sit down with each player just to see how things were going. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
School, your family, mentally, how are you doing? Physically, you're banged up or you're bruised up. Are you happy with where you're at? Here's some things that you can improve on. He was constantly recruiting his players, and I'm talking 30 years ago, probably 40 years ago when he got into it. And now more than ever, coaches got to keep recruiting. Because once you get them on campus and once they sign their name, their letter of intent, that's just really the beginning of the dance. Because once you got them there, you got to keep them. Especially when you have other shooters out there, if you're a high-profile player, showing you money. Now, I'm not going to go too far into the second hour. I don't know what that young man from Pittsburgh, if anyone reached out to him from other schools. It's highly speculative, but I'm telling you what, I have big doubts that someone didn't reach out to him. We don't have anything in writing. We don't know that. But I don't think this guy's all of a sudden just going, hey, I wonder if USC would offer me some money. I wonder if this school or that school would offer me money. Something was said to strike his curiosity. So you've got to keep recruiting those. What would you say?
Something was definitely said to strike his curiosity. But this whole if you don't think there's tampering going on and stuff, it's happening. I mean, it's free agency. It's the wild, wild west. It's got to that point. It's sad, but this is what's going on now. And like, Coach Frost, and they say this is the world we live in. We've got to adjust to it, and we've got to do what we can to be successful in it. And I mean, that's one thing about Nebraska. I'll say they're stepping up, and they're trying to adjust as much as they possibly can to be successful in this new world. But I don't know. I see trouble, and I see trouble in the future, I guess is what I'm saying.
You know what, Raff? The other thing when you said I was thinking about is when you said we have the bubble's going to burst. College football, college sport, and not just football. I'm mixing football because it's because of the sheer amount of money there. But I also want to forget about the basketball aspect. The NCAA tournament, March Madness, okay, makes over $1 billion for that tournament. $1 billion with a B. There is sick money out there. Sick money. So we already know that was going on. But prior to the NIL that just took place, that basically busted open 3.5, 4 months ago, made it legal. We have squeezed all the toothpaste out of the tube. It's a mess right now. Trying to put it back in, good luck with that. Good luck. However, though, the NCAA, let me take that back. Not even say the NCAA. College football, whether it's a collective effort amongst the schools, your Power Five, I'm not sure how you do it, but there has got to be some checks and balances that kick in. Because right now, you have players that are in the college right now that are signing bigger NIL deals than some of those guys signed a week and a half ago for the pro draft.
True.
Think about that.
It's wild.
If I'm going to think about the receiver out of Pittsburgh, Addison, okay? If that is true, because some of the numbers, we know both of some of the numbers, are exaggerated. We know that. Let's just even say if it was $1 million. Well, we do have one. The gymnast at LSU. What's her name, Raff?
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
What I'm talking about.
I was just talking about it last night.
Yes. She's making how much a year? 1.5 or 2.1?
She's close to about $2 million.
$2 million a year. Her coach probably doesn't make $2 million a year.
Her name is Olivia Doon.
Olivia Doon. What year is she in school?
Oh man, you're asking me all the questions here tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm throwing lefts and rights and jabs, uppercuts, and what is this? What was it for the sake of time? She's making $2 million a year as an amateur athlete. Can we actually? I'm gonna put the people out on the line this too. Call into the Honda of Lincoln, the Starter Heyman text line hotline 402-464-5685. Make sure I said that right, Raff.
Yep,
what's your opinion on that? Yeah, give us a buzz. Should these players, not even should they make that much? I want you to ask yourself this. If you're a coach I don't care if you're coaching what sport it is at the collegiate level. How would you regulate this? Can you regulate it anymore? The genie's out of the bottle. Can you regulate it now that it's out? You know, my dog Louie
Cassius.
Louie. Our new Frenchy Bulldog. Folks, I got a French Bulldog. If you're an Instagram person, go to at Louie the Bulldog. Is that his name, or at Louie the Dog? At Louie the Frenchie. Whatever his name is.
We'll look that up during the break.
Yeah, we'll look it up and give it back to you. I made the mistake because the dude was so dang cute. I gave him some table scraps. Well, guess what? I gave him table scraps, and my wife Brooke did too. Naya, she held on. She didn't give them to him. Now, guess what? Every time I got a plate of food out, Louie is now going, He's putting his paw up on my shin and on my leg. He's tapping me, saying, hey, I want some more of that. I can no longer, now I refuse to give it to him, but what I'm simply saying is, though, in the simplest forms, once you give them a taste of that money and that type of money, good luck at trying to turn off their salivation for it. Exactly. It's impossible. Now, you can regulate it, just like I'm telling Louis, no, you're not getting any of this, but the cat's out of the bag. He knows how good it is. These athletes start seeing how much money they can get. It no longer becomes even about the education, no longer becomes about the school. It becomes about who has the biggest pockets. It is what it is. What I'm simply saying is, to your point, Raff, this is not sustainable. We can't sustain this. Exactly. Legally, I just don't know how we do it. And I can't even say legally because it's not illegal anymore. It's illegal. Yep. I mean, if the NFL, a multi-billion-dollar operation, has checks and balances, every team has a salary cap. Every team. You can pay a player $150 million if you want, but that means you ain't going to have much for the other guys. I think there has to be something put in place to where you have some checks and balances. You know, because as far as us calling college sports amateur sports anymore, I think it's a joke. It's not amateur sports anymore.
Nope, not at all.
Not when you can get it. Not when you get an agent to broker a deal to where you're going to go to school at based on NIL money. Yep. Your thoughts?
Nope, I am in total agreement with you. There needs to be some sort of checks and balances. Hopefully that the NCAA, hopefully the new president, when Emmert steps down, can take control of the situation. And with that, we will throw it to break, and we will be back here in a couple minutes.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. Springtime is here, and that means you're outside more in nice weather and maybe even having garage parties with neighbors. The drink of this spring and summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs and 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Tune in every Monday morning throughout the summer at 6:45 a.m. for golf course reviews on the Nebraska Golf Passport Early Break Golf Tour with Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Please enjoy these next few moments of relaxation from Scott and Greg at Mendoza Family Insurance. If you would like to feel this relaxed about your home, auto, business, life, or commercial property insurance, please give Scott or Greg a call today at Mendoza Family Insurance.
Husker fans, continue to support the Nebraska softball team during Fan Appreciation Weekend this Friday through Sunday. The team hosts Indiana in a 3-game series with giveaways each day. On Friday, the first 500 fans receive a water bottle. Come out Saturday and be one of the first 500 fans to receive a blanket. And on Sunday, if you're one of the first 500 fans, you'll get yourself a pint glass. For more information on the game, visit Huskers.com. Get your single game tickets now at Huskers.com or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Southeast College has learning centers in Falls City, Hebron, Nebraska City, Plattsmouth, Wahoo, and York so that you can take credit and non-credit classes at a center nearby without having to travel an hour or more to campus. By taking online classes and those at a learning center, you can earn your degree from SEC where and when it's convenient for you, all at a cost that won't stand in the way of your education. Learn more about SCC's learning centers at southeast.edu/learning centers. SCC, your path to possible. Southeast Community College is training tomorrow's workforce today with our nearly 60 career and technical programs. We're doing our part to help employers fill vacancies during this current labor shortage, graduating students with skill sets employers are seeking. We're also helping to upskill the workforce by adding short-term credentials like certificates in many programs so that employees can get retraining quickly. Learn more about upskilling with SCC at southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Now back to Riffin with Raff and AD on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All righty, everybody. We're back again. Wednesday night, Riffin with Raff and AD, the quickest 2 hours of the week. Now we can relax, sit back, talk about the movies and the Huskers with my good friend, Preston Hillier. Preston, good to have you here tonight, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Sorry, it was a little hiccup getting on here.
Proud of Preston. 1 second here. I'm looking,
testing.
I'm looking
Can you hear
over
me?
at Harrison here. We're working feverishly to see if we can get some volume out of Preston here.
Can you hear
Is
me?
there a microphone, Preston, by chance you might be able to turn on your side?
I could just turn on headphones and go to internal speakers, I guess.
Oh, we got a picture of Preston.
Can
AD,
you hear
are
now?
you there?
We got a picture of Preston on there?
Yep, we got a picture. We're working on his volume right now.
Can you hear now?
You bet.
He looks good. He looks like a movie star. Yeah, a movie star. Looks like a guy in an Ozempic commercial. Be honest with you.
Or someone on General Hospital.
Yeah, we've got Preston. We just don't have the volume.
That's
so
weird.
all of you out there watching on the stream, you can see Preston. What we might have to do is maybe have him call in to us.
Can he hear anything? I got the mic on. I got the let's see.
I tell you what, maybe have him call in. I'll call back and check in with you.
Okay, we will. Let's do that. Let's do that. Preston, would you want to call in?
Do you want me to just try the link again?
All right. If you can call in at 402-464-5685. And then AD will probably have to let you go. We can only have one person on the line at once.
Absolutely. And I'll check back with you guys second hour, brother.
All right. Sounds good. Drive safe.
Sounds
Do you want
good.
me to try the link again first? That's good. Let me try the link one more time. 2 seconds. All right. Is the mic working now? Mic's working. Mic working now? Sound? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Four oh 464. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We'll work on that a little bit more. All right, Preston, are you there?
I'm here. I see it. I can't hear you on my end. It looks like you've got your thing is muted. Your sound is muted on your side. On the camera, it says muted.
Huh. I am not sure, but we got you. We got you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. So I can hang up?
That I am not 100. I'm hearing you on the telephone, or if I'm hearing you. Okay, I'm hearing you on the phone, so you'll have to stay on the phone if you could.
Okay.
Oh, now I can
hear you again.
All right, let me just let me get off my
All right.
Feedback there. Hear me now?
Yep, perfect. All right, we got you. Woo! That's what it's all about right there. We just do what we do here, you know. It's Raff and AD. We'll let AD get back to driving. We'll talk to Preston. So Preston Hillier.
Yes, sir.
Got you on the show here tonight. I mean, you've been on some amazing shows. Maybe want to let the people out there listen. You know, been out in California for 22 years. What are some of the shows that you've been on?
God, you know, it's funny to sit here and think about them, to list them, because it seems like forever ago a lot of those shows were on. I mean, the first thing I did when I moved to LA was I had signed up to do background. You know, obviously every TV show you see has got people in the background that you notice but you don't notice. That's why they're so good. I had gotten a call from the company to come in to be a lookalike, a Joey lookalike on an episode of Friends. And that was like the #1 show on TV. I had friends that were calling me Joey in college. It was just kind of one of those strange occurrences. And I went in and it was literally like, we're on the sound stage of Friends in the Central Perk, and there's about 15 of us, and the producers and writers and the director are all standing there, and they're kind of whispering to each other. It's like getting picked for dodgeball. You just want to get picked. And so they're pointing this guy, and then they're looking at him. And then I was like the last one to be picked. There was 5 of us. There's an episode that's called the one with Unagi, where Ross is like, Unagi. And there's 5 guys sitting around. Matt LeBlanc's character, obviously Joey, and another guy is looking for somebody for a twin study, which, you know, obviously Joey doesn't have a twin, so there's no way it would work, but that's Joey, and therein lies the comedy. But I've been on I was on one of your favorite shows, General Hospital, for I don't know how many episodes, probably 70 or 80 episodes, playing Alcazar's bodyguard. I've probably every soap opera in this town, but like Grey's Anatomy, Private Practice, more recently MacGyver, Magnum PI. I actually have a show coming out, an episode of a show that's going to be on next week on the Hulu network called Candy. It's based on a true story. Jessica Biel's the star of it. I did a few episodes of The Walking Dead that'll be out later this year. I mean, just so many in between. I was actually fortunate enough to come back to Nebraska a few years ago, like 2016. What's that?
12 Days of Giving.
12 Days of Giving. My friend Christine Conrad wrote it and directed it, and she's done a million. She's from Nebraska. She went to East High. She's done probably 50, 60 TV movies, written and directed. And I've been fortunate enough to work with her a few times. But, you know, it's a crapshoot. You just never know when your next job is going to come. And you know, you just ride that ride. I guess that's kind of Hollywood. Like tonight, right? Technical difficulties. You just
don't. That's what we do. We do. I was wondering, being out there in California, I guess we should probably let people know you grew up in Nebraska,
Grew up in Lincoln.
graduated, made your way out to California. Are there a lot of, so to say, quote unquote celebrities that are Nebraska fans? Or anyone ever come up to you and just come up and they're like, hey, like the Huskers a little bit, or is it pretty much all business when you're on set?
You know what I mean? Like, when you travel or do anything, if you wear Nebraska gear, and I do, anywhere, like a hat or a shirt or whatever, but anytime it's almost like it's like you're waving your flag. You've got a beacon up, and anybody who's from Nebraska or knows somebody from Nebraska, or maybe was a fan during their heydays in the 90s, just because they were great, will come up and start talking to you. It's always a good talking point with people being a fan. So it's always that common connection, I mean, there are a lot of people in LA that are from Nebraska, I think, and they're mostly people out here for the business, but you run into them randomly at the grocery store every now and then. I mean, there are some Husker watch sites for game days that we try to go to, and yeah, I mean, there's like the Nebraska Coast Connection. That's a lot of Nebraska folks that are in the industry, and they try and help each other out, and you just stay in contact. LA's a finicky place, and everybody's from somewhere else, and you learn over time to kind of gravitate towards good people that are like-minded and that you get along with and you trust, that support you and you support them, and that's very Nebraska to me.
That's awesome. I always laugh. The Auto Trader commercial, is that 5-6 years ago?
Auto Trader with the
little girls kicking the back seat,
kicking everything. Yeah, that was something like that. Maybe I think you're right, about 5-6 years ago.
Because I always laugh, because I used to always text you and be like, oh, looks like there's another big game on the SEC on CBS or whatever, because I swear, right before every single game kicked off, boom, there's Preston Auto Trader commercial. So I was
they ran the hell out of that.
Set the tone for it. Have there been any like lately the Ozempic commercial? I don't know if you know, but in Nebraska it plays a ton.
It plays everywhere. I think there's a website called iSpot.tv, and it was originally used industry-wise because when you do a commercial, not all the time, but most of the times commercials are paid per their usage. So it was a way for people to track how many times their spots had run, and if you're not being paid accordingly. Now it's just a fun thing to kind of look at. I've been on there recently just to see, and it's run over 10,000 times, and that's on every market. That's on cable, national, whatever. It's insane. And I've never had it. I mean, I've done a ton of commercials like the Auto Trader and stuff that's run really, been really good spots, and been good fun commercials. This is one of them too. But I've had so many people reach out to me on like Instagram and like my Facebook, like I have like a actor page or whatever on there, and sending messages and saying that you're so great, and like I have like old ladies saying you're so handsome, and I'm like, I've never had that kind of response from a commercial. And I get texts daily from friends of mine, and I've screenshotted so many of them, and I have a file on my phone that eventually I'll do like a photo dump and post it somewhere, because there's friends that I haven't heard from, and I don't know, like guys from my fraternity and people from high school, people from grade school sending me messages and stuff. So it's really funny to me.
And it's more than just the commercial. You've got like pamphlets and material and stuff like that. I've into, what is it? Oh,
CBS probably. Yeah.
And there's Preston staring at me. I'm like, holy cow, this is craziness.
It's bizarre to me too. I was in Atlanta, actually. I was there for The Walking Dead, and I went into CVS to get some stuff, and I'm walking down the aisle and I kind of stop and double take, and I'm like, holy shit, that's me. I've never had, I mean, there's print work and stuff that you end up in, and even some billboards over the years, but to walk into a store and to see that, and I took a couple of little pamphlets out and went up to the front, and I held up to the guy, hey, look at that, that's pretty funny, honey. Is that's $2.98. Okay, sorry about that. Thanks.
So that leads to my next question. It made you more recognizable. I mean, people around California just coming up to you asking for autographs and stuff like that, or asking
no. But I mean, I've cited it already a couple times, named the show in here. But the last, I was down in Atlanta. God, when was it? Beginning of March, end of February. I think it was beginning of March. I did the last episode of The Walking Dead, the series finale, and I was on set, and I'd been there a few times, and you get to know the wardrobe people, know the crew people more than anything. The stars of the show are perfectly nice, but they're busy doing their thing. They're not, they're perfectly friendly. They just don't have time to chat and whatever. But I showed up for fitting, and like the wardrobe ladies were like, oh my God, I see you in that commercial. Our transpo lady said the same thing. A couple of the bigger cast members were like, hey, I see the commercial all the time, and some extras. And I was just like, I'm standing there, and it's like, Norman Reedus and all these like big stars of the show that are the big shots. And then here are people coming up to me telling me, oh, I saw your Ozempic commercial. I'm like, thanks. I just don't even know what to say. Appreciate it. But when it runs that many times, I guess when I get tired of seeing it too.
So then also we talk a lot about the 90s, the Huskies in the 90s and stuff like that. I've got to ask you, Scott Bakula. I mean, Quantum Leap in the 90s. I mean, that's what it was at. I mean, what would you like to work with on NCIS Maryland?
Exactly like you would hope he'd be. He is a consummate professional, one of the nicest people I've ever worked with. If I ever had a chance to work with him again, in a heartbeat, I'd do it, and I'd do it for free. He's just, I had met him maybe a year before at a friend's birthday, mutual friend, and so it's not funny, but he was there. He was cutting the cake and handing out pieces. It's just at a friend's in their backyard, because he's just such a humble, everyday guy, just like he seems he would be, because that's just who he is. And I walked into the trailer, into the hair and makeup, to have him give me a good one over. And he's sitting there, and he got up and introduced himself to me. And I was like, it's so nice to meet you. I said, but we've actually met before, and I know you're not going to remember it. And he's like, oh, really? Right. I said, yeah, we met at Dwayne's birthday party. I said, you served me cake. And he goes, oh my God, I remember that. I go, no, you don't. No, there's no way you remember that. Because I chatted him up there a bit. And I mean, you're our age, we're in our late 40s. Like, we grew up watching him on Quantum Leap and so many other shows. I mean, he's been around for so long. And that was a thrill for me to meet him that time. But then to get to work with him was really surreal. But he's exactly like you would hope. There's a lot of those people in the business that really surprise you one way and they surprise you another. But he's an amazing person. So
that's awesome. All right, Preston, we've got to pay some bills, but we'll come back with you here in the next segment and do a break.
All right.
Mary Ellen's food for the it's food right there in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say food like your grandma used to make, but grandma never made food like that. Haven't already? Got to give it a try. Check out the location. Visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's food for the soul. Let them put you a plate.
Selling a home, even building one, you're doing all. and meet a lender who can help you do it, like Jennifer Peters.
There are a lot of ways we can work to find the best fit for your situation. Let me help you explore your options.
Mortgage lending, security first bank. We're the member FDIC equal house lender, NMLS 505011 and 616194.
Husker fans, continue to support the
Nebraska softball team during Fan Appreciation Weekend. That's Friday through Sunday.
host Indiana
In a 3-game series with giveaways each day.
on Friday. The first 500 fans receive a water bottle. Come out Saturday and be one of the first 500 fans to receive a blanket. On Sunday, if you're one of the first 500 fans, you'll get yourself a pint glass. For more information on the game, visit Huskers.com. Get your single game tickets now at Huskers.com.
Time to replace your heating and air? Get utility rebates and big discounts from Bryant. Call 467-1111 or go to BryantBlanket.com. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating.
You want to make new flooring shopping easier? Come to Steve Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carpet. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. You eliminate the confusion. Even better, you can join your new flooring. No 6 or 8 week wait. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day. Steve Carpet. 1732 Family on the offer. Always the best value. You know you want that smoking thing and spicy sauce and
Go to Hall of the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. Let the flavor expert Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders, and thighs. Sides delivered to your door. You can always cook. That's why then you deliver to Wingstop.
Right now, the new Wingstop.
Yeah.
93.7 is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win.
Let's take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize and pay into this video. Or your prize will be keep on participating in our contest. Thank you for listening to 93.7.
Hi, this is Dave Offit from Mustard Golf. Let us make this your best season yet. Voted a top 100 fitter by Golf Digest, our master fitters have been trained by the same guys that build clubs for PGA pros like Rory, Tiger, DJ, and Jordan. Have old clubs? Trade them in an Offit value guide. Or have our club specialist teach your club swinging like new. Go to our website and make a fitting appointment. We're quickly away from up on the golf field. Have fun in this.
With B on 937 and the ticketfm.com.
All right, we're back again Wednesday night. It's 2 hours of the week. This is Raff and AD. Riffin here. Riffin, I've got to ask you one of my great questions that I have. Have you been starstruck ever since you've been out there? Is there somebody that you always looked up to and came across and went, holy cow, I'm being next to so-and-so?
Yeah, I mean, I've had that on set a little bit too. Like we talked about Scott Bakula. Met years ago. I met Pacino. I was at Beverly D'Angelo. I've known for years, and I was at her house for her kid's birthday party. And she's like, "Would you go out to the street and help Al? He's coming in. He's trying to park the car." And I was just like, "Al?" Like, you know, that's just how we refer to him now. That was probably that's probably the most. I don't know. I mean, when I met him, he was actually just a really nice. He's a little quirky guy, but he was extremely nice. And so I got over the starstruck real quick. Last year, I think it was last year, we were down. My girlfriend and I were in Malibu at this guy's house. It's one of her best friends' brother, and I honestly don't remember his name off the top of my head. He's some billionaire, knows everybody in Hollywood, and of course, why wouldn't you if you got that kind of money? But he's like best friends with Stallone, and so we're at this 4th of July barbecue on the beach, and we walk in, and I see Stallone like me from me at about crap my pants because I've seen so many people and worked with so many people, but he's like, I mean, he's about the top of the game. I mean, if you're a guy and into all those action movies and that was, and I never actually went over and talked to him. And she said, he's actually really nice. You go introduce yourself. I'm like, no way am I going to go over there. That is probably the most structure. Other people I've seen it through friends or like working on that and stuff, and it's very humbling where you grow up idolizing and looking up to, whether it's as an artist or as just as a fan. But yeah, Stallone it's probably I about froze, So
That's awesome. All right. For why you brought me here, gotta ask the question. How those Nebraska Cornhuskers going to do next year in the old football?
God, honestly, I think I'm probably more cautiously optimistic this year than ever, and I drink the Kool-Aid every year. I get hyped. I read reports, follow all these kids, and the coaching changes all the time, and I read it all. I buy in hardcore, and I always think this is our year. This is our year. We find funding, we do all the stuff, and then it ends, in disappointment. Generally, I think I'm probably about as when Riley came in, that was probably the most cautious I think I'd ever been. I didn't know who any of the staff were, and that was a very scary time, even more so than the other coach's name that we don't mention. But I love Frost. I love his picks for coordinators. Mickey Joseph is such a great recruiter. He has a proven track record. He's a former Husker. What's not to love? He's. I really think they're going to turn it around on offense. The NIL stuff, we all know it. We all don't love it, but it also can work to our benefit. And I think we got some really good kids in. Casey Thompson will be really interesting to see. Purdy, he's got, I think, some injuries to work through still. There's a lot of, and we have still some great kids on the team. Logan Smothers is I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. He's going to fight for a chance. But defense really was a question mark until we got O'Shawn and this other kid out of Texas Tech, which I don't know much about him, but O'Shawn was just so highly touted. The portal is just, it's like, who do you got left? But he seems like a pretty top end kid. And watching that spring game, Garrett Nelson, like if we had 10 more of him on defense, I think we'd probably win the national championship. But I'm very optimistic, I guess, in the sense that I think we'll go to a bowl game for sure. Beyond that, I don't really know. I would think 8-4 would be like probably my top on that, but I'd love to see more wins. And I know, we got to get to a bowl game. Scott and everybody want to keep their job. I think that's the priority right there, is just to get to a bowl game and see some real improvements. Some of the games that looked great. Defense played great last year. Martinez is gone. I'm a fan of him as a kid, but I think it's a great fresh start for everybody. And hopefully Whipple and Frost working together are going to really, modify whatever was missing last year.
Definitely. Now that analyst right there, that's future right there. I think you covered the whole entire squad. That was really well done. So apparently, Steve Sipple and the boys are getting that news out the side of the United States there, because
they do, man. They all do a great job. I'm on everything all the time, constantly looking up, analysis and who's this and who's that, and it's like the prognosticators are great. Sipple and obviously everybody on staff at Journal Star and Omaha World Herald, they really know their stuff. They get opportunity to interview these kids and get the inside scoop. But just as a fan and somebody who knows football, to to watch what's going on in the practices, watch the spring game, and watch the track record we've had, and knowing the capabilities of our coaching staff, and just giving it that Nebraska optimism that we all like to call drinking the Kool-Aid.
You betcha. Well, all righty. We have to throw it to break now, but can we have you stick around for another segment since we got done a little bit late?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Love to.
All right. Awesome. So what we'll do is we'll throw it to break right now, and we'll be back with Preston here in a few minutes.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
95 with an afternoon high of 57. Southeast winds at around 10 to 15. We'll see an increasing chance of rain late this afternoon into tonight with a low down
around 49. We will continue with a chance of showers and thunderstorms for our Thursday with a high of 54. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace.
Talking about a new order for myself, they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at coppellcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Happy Hour with Nick Singert and Enrique Alvarez-Clary.
The problem is when NIL was first instated, the NCAA was just like, okay, well, we're taking a step back. Go ahead, do it. You guys handle everything you want, universities, and feel free to deal with this as you see fit.
In my opinion, when you insert that word contract and you have an agent, that's when it becomes more professional-like and less about a college athlete making some money off of their name, image, and likeness.
Weekdays from 2 to 3 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to Oak Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at Oak Street Carpet.
Oak Street Carpet.
1732 Oak Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Stifle. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sif. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Stifle. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. Springtime is here, and that means you're outside more in nice weather, and maybe even having garage parties with neighbors. The drink of this spring and summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors. 4-packs and 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and mint. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD done right.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM first. 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome to Riffin with Raff and AD. Coming to you live from the Coppell Chevrolet GMC studios. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Now here's Werner Husker, Chris Raff, and Aaron Davis.
All right, we're back again Wednesday night. Riffin with Raff and AD, the quickest 2 hours of the week. We're here with Preston Hillier. So, Preston, the last segment you gave us in-depth analysts of the Nebraska football team. can you kind of pinpoint back to when it all began? Like, when did this all start? Is there a year? Is there a game? Is there a player? Is there somebody that just sort of brought you into the Big Red Mix?
As a fan?
Yeah, as a fan. You know how a lot of us are born into it, like Nebraska fan, but is there a time where you kind of know where it began? Like for mine, I look back, probably was back, I'm going to date myself, but number 32, I Am Hip. He kind of brought me into that Nebraska mix. So he was my first favorite player. I don't know if there was one that you had that sticks out to you there.
Yeah, I mean, grandfather had season tickets, so besides just being born into, as a local Nebraska kid, and growing up playing football in the side yard, which I know you and I used to do with each other a long time ago. You were not as big as you are now, though. I would not have been tackling you back then if you were the same size. But going to games, I mean, just the awe of that experience as a kid. Getting older, going to the University of Nebraska. I mean, I was in a fraternity. I was in Theta Xi. I remember being there when we won in '94, and we're all sitting there watching it because it was cold and snowy out, and it's like I still remember it so vividly, winning and just sprinting down to O Street. And there was already cops on O Street that the lights were going, and everybody's your best friend, hugging, jumping up and down, and you're talking to people you've never met. And I remember thinking to myself, now is my opportunity to sneak into a bar. Nobody's looking. Would have been a bad idea, but it's like so many close calls, and we just had never gotten there. And I think that probably solidified, being a fan, being a student there, and going to classes with these kids that, they're just kids just like us, and everybody's idolizing them, and you're trying to wrap your head around that. And I remember being in a class and having, it was Rocks for Jocks, and Scott Frost was in front of me, and Jason Peter was standing behind me. We had to turn in our midterms or whatever, and just thinking, wow, look at these guys. They're like the stars. They're like the best people I've ever seen play football, and I'm standing around between them. But it's great being there. You can go to the games, do whatever you want. There's Aaron. But being able to, like, when you move away, your fandom changes completely. You're buying all the hats, you're buying the shirts, you're touting who you are and where you're from. And I'm a fan, and you find your tribe. Like I said, going to these watch sites and hooking up with your friends that are from there, that live here, and watching games together and cheering and crying. But I think going back, I mean, I remember watching Jarvis Redwine give the finger. Like, that still sticks out in my head, seeing that. But all the greats that were back in that, back in the 80s, like Turner Gill and Irving Fryer, Mike Rozier, all those guys, I think that really was when I became a big fan as a kid. So, and of course, Aaron.
Aaron Davis.
You got feedback, Aaron.
We got some reverb.
How are we doing now?
Perfect. Oh, I got the reverb.
You know what? Raff, I think because of the feedback, let's keep you going with Preston.
If you have the sound in your ears and turn it down on your computer, it should work. Mute your laptop or whatever you're on, and you should just hear it through the headphones. Maybe. It sounds like a horror movie. I love it.
How about I log off, you guys keep going, and then Raff, when you're done, I'll come on after Preston golf.
Yeah, we'll take
We
this.
don't want
We'll
that
go to the next segment, and then we'll bring you on, and we'll let Preston get to his evening.
That's right. Just give me a text. Preston, great to see you, man. I'm looking
And sorry we didn't get a chat. I was looking forward to it.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, for sure, man. Go Big Red.
All right, so we're back.
There we go.
Next time
that was like the psycho knife going.
I know. It's getting a lot. We knew you were going to be here, so we had to throw in some sound effects and stuff like that. We'll do this. Next time you come back to Lincoln, if you're in town, we'll bring you into the studio.
That would be great. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to.
Because I'm sure you have some questions for AD.
Yeah, of course.
So, okay, so back Marvis Jarvis red wine. You got that. What is there a game? Let's take out the national championship games, but is there a game that sticks out to you as one of your favorite games that you'd seen through the years?
God, any in-person game. I think probably more recently, since that's just what I have to draw from. I came back because I always come back for I try to come back for one game every year. And we've tried we tried traveling a couple times to games. Went to Rutgers. You know what? I'll say the Rutgers game because that was probably. We went to Rutgers. My friend Jimmy Tansey, who played for Nebraska, also Andrew Wingender and Dave Kalowski. They all played around the same time. And Jimmy actually was like a grad assistant coach once he had been hurt too many times and still wanted to be part of the program. So his senior year, that's what he did. But he lives in Jersey, and there's a group of us. It was God, I can't remember how many people were there. There was a ton of us. Brent and Dan, and there was 6 or 7, maybe 8 of us. We went to the Rutgers game, and if you've never been, it's a pretty small stadium. It's like a Texas high school stadium or something, I would say, but it's really nice. People were really cool. We all sat in the front row, and being there with those guys after, knowing them for so long, getting to go to a game, they actually get to enjoy a game from the stands instead of being on the sidelines. And we slobber knocked Rutgers. I don't remember what the score was, but it was 42-3 or something like that. I think we let them get a field goal. That was in the Amir Abdullah days, but it was great. It's a good recent memory. Other than that, maybe a home game against Miami against Prison U, because it was like their fans were so feisty, and it didn't matter that we were winning, and they were not. They're just so easy to hate.
Well, are they with the upcoming year? Are there too early for you already for this year? Do you know what games will be back?
No, we my girlfriend, my brother, my sister, we're all going to Ireland. We have tickets for the Ireland game. We just bought our flights 2 days ago, and so that is locked in so far. We may go back for the Rutgers game as well, but as far as coming to Lincoln, I haven't really looked at the schedule to see, but I'd like to. I kind of had this thing where I was like bad luck. Every time my buddy and Dan would go to a game, we always lost, and we're like, "Fuck this!" I kept all the ticket stubs from all the games we lost, and probably about 5 years ago, I had them all matted and framed and gave it to him when we went to a game and we broke our streak and won. So I put that one in the middle, and there was like maybe 12 game tickets around that of all games that we lost. So, but I don't think I'm the bad luck part of it at this point. I just think we've just had bad luck in general, but I don't know. It'd be nice to go to a for sure winnable game. That'll be a good game. I mean, I think that first game in Ireland is going to kind of set the tone for the season, and unfortunately how Illinois did last year, but cautiously optimistic.
Exactly. That's what I tell everybody. Believe it when I see it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they have all the potential to be really good. That was one of those. I didn't think it was a glaring hole. I just thought it was just something more depth, because I think the young players out on it are going to be pretty good in their time. It's just a matter of just getting that extra depth. So we got that.
Yeah.
Defense.
You know what? My big question was our O-line coach. I mean, I know Tuioti came in and did a pretty good job in 2 years, especially last year. They were great. But now with Dawson, right?
Yep, Coach Dawson. Yep.
He was there the first year, not so great. Left. Tuioti came in, kind of cleaned things up, got pretty good. I'm just, we'll see what happens. I think we definitely have the talent there. A couple of those big kids up front, Ty Robinson. But that's going to be developmental. We'll see what happens with coaching when it comes down to that. I think the linebackers are great. That's probably our biggest strength. We've got a lot more depth in the secondary. And, I think they were pretty good last year in the backfield too. So,
yeah, no, that's I'm looking at it. We've got that chance. Just going out there and finding, and I think what it will take, I think, is a game to come into the fourth quarter where Nebraska either is a little bit behind or a little bit ahead. They hold them off, and it's just a mental thing. All those, a lot of those games were just a mental thing. And it was not only the team, it was the fans. Like one of the fourth quarters, like, what's going to happen now? You know what I thought attitude. And I always thought the 90s, and it was like, we get to the fourth quarter, that was just the mentality. Went from we own the fourth quarter, what's going to happen? And you have that mentality going in, it's like you're in trouble. So.
Yeah, I mean, you go from back when we were in school, it was like we just always won at halftime. The game was over. The second, third string guys get pad their stats, and the other guys get a rest. But I think it's hard when no matter where these kids came from, their high school, if they were state champions or whatever it was, when you've never, the team's never had a winning record. Well, these guys like Ben Stilley and they were there, they just never had a winning record. So it's hard to play like from that championship standpoint where you're like, we're not losing this game because you're used to losing the game. Something in the back of your mind. I think it's just like a fighter, a fighter I don't care if they're a heavyweight champion or whatever but once you've been knocked out, there's always something in the back of your mind anticipating that next knockout, getting to those last rounds and getting tired. And that last, that punch that's just going to catch you off guard once it happens. So I think, with these kids, it's like, and I love that Frost has brought in a lot of former players and that have, were there in the heydays and, the Peter brothers and Jason Peter, I don't think Christian's been, but Wisterom, those guys that come in and just give that pep talk and yell at him, get him jacked up. And that's just how that locker room always was. I mean, talking to Jimmy, getting stories from him, it's just like, there is no place like Nebraska, and those kids just, you're not going to beat us here. This is our house, and they need to get back to that mentally, it really is mentally. And it's just surprising to me with Frost having been such a champion there. And I think now with Mickey Joseph back and, we were good when Barrett Ruud was there too. It's just, I think that culmination of all those guys together and Trev Alberts at the helm, we got good leadership. I think it's going to turn around. So
definitely
cautiously optimistic.
You betcha. Not the full maybe just a little.
Yeah, for sure.
So then I got to go back to another question. I've always wondered. Memorizing lines. Like, what is your reaching rate? Like, you just look at something and you be like, all right, I'm good to go. Got everything memorized, or how does that work for you?
That's actually a great question. I mean, everybody has kind of their own technique. There are people that can look at stuff and like Mary Lou Henner is one of those. She has a photographic memory. She can look at it and she just knows it. Most, like for me, it's repetition. And it's also putting yourself in the situation. Actors create that imaginary world for themselves. I mean, generally the words are written there and it gives it for you, whether it's the context of the scene, the lines in between the lines is where the acting takes place. just repetition, reading, having become second nature. So when you're on set, you're not second guessing what your line was, and then running lines with somebody just to hear it, just to bounce it back and forth, whether it's a friend or a colleague or, my girlfriend will run lines with me a lot too. But you show up, you got to be prepared. You don't want to have them second guess why they brought you in there. But when you can put yourself in that situation as that character, stuff just sticks. It's strange. And that's come with time too. I think early on, like General Hospital or any of the soap operas, like you go in, you get the script. They made. I had an episode of General Hospital one time. They just completely changed the scene and they added a whole bunch of dialogue. It was like and you probably remember the episode. It was like a riverboat casino robbery, and it was like all the bad guys were there. Everybody, the whole cast was in the scene, and I was the only one talking. We're holding them all up. It's I'm drawing a blank on all the characters' names right now, but
you held up
Sunny. That's the one I'm talking about. See, I knew you'd remember it.
I don't watch it. I don't know what you're talking about.
You've never heard that. It's just something you saw on the internet. Yeah, but it was Sonny Corinthos, and it was just like I held him up, and it was everybody was in that. All the like, all the actors that are on contract and stuff were all there, and they're like, okay, you're the only one talking this, and now you're shooting this gun off, and you're doing all this, added all this extra stuff. I was like, I wasn't prepared. I mean, I was prepared. I actually sweat through my tuxedo and the overcoat I had on in the scene because I was so nervous, but I nailed it.
Well, you're the only guy I think in history that you're a henchman for one of the mobsters, Alcazar, and then you return back like 10, 12 years later, and you're a doctor, and you deliver the Princess baby.
Right. I held Sonny up at gunpoint, and then obviously I had a change of heart, went back to med school, and decided to deliver Sonny's baby. I think that's the story arc right there.
That's all. That's the soap right there. That was I still remember that first time I saw in General Hospital. I was like, wait a second. And then it was funny because I had saw you right before you went to California. I don't know why I remember this, but I think
right
it was at
downtown or something.
Yeah, it was at Iguanas. Yeah, I saw you at Iguanas like the day before you were going to leave.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, take care. See you later. Have a good one. Didn't really think much about it. And then I'm watching General Hospital one night, and I'm like, what in the world? So I called him our mutual friend Brad. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, whatever happened to California? And Brad's like, I don't know much, but I know that he was on plans. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you must turn on General Hospital because he is now on General Hospital. So that was pretty amazing.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Yeah. It's still strange to me. Anytime somebody pays me to stand there and say words and pretend to be somebody else, it's bizarre.
So how many like shows and movies have you been on total so
far? God. I think it's probably around, I think it's like 70 different titles, but General Hospital was like almost 80 episodes. Nashville was 5 episodes. There's a lot of them that were like multiple episodes. Days of Our Lives. I mean, if you look on IMDb, it's back then they didn't really add that stuff. I think, Days of Our Lives was like maybe it's close to 20 episodes. So, I mean, of actual times on TV, I honestly don't know. And then just all the commercials and stuff too over the years and movies and yeah, it's kind of overwhelming to think about.
So say that there's like a young Preston out there right now. Is there like a want ads, or how do you go about finding roles and stuff like that? Is it essential to have an agent, or is it possible, or how do you find out, how to, I guess, try out, basically?
I mean, you honestly, you gotta have some sort of a foundation to make sure it's something you really want to do. If somebody said, I want to be an actor, I'd be like, well, go back to school and do something normal with your life. But I think it starts doing theater. I mean, I did theater at Nebraska and a lot of community theater there. And I did a ton of local commercials. Like, God, I did a Runza commercial. I was a tomato in a Runza commercial. That was my first paying job. I got $300 for that. That was buku bucks. I did a bunch of Valentino's ones. I did like cheesy stuff for CNL Automotive, and I can't even remember all the local stuff. I didn't get paid, or I got paid with like Valentino's gift cards because Travis Fox, who was the head over Cox Cable, I think is who it was at the time, or Time Warner, was doing all the commercials, and he's a great guy. Gave me a lot of experience and opportunities for that stuff. And, I got to that point where I was in LA, and I didn't know anything. I mean, I had some friends that run the business. My friend Kristen Hensley was out here, and she helped me a lot. I worked behind the scenes on commercials, and you get to know the other side of it and how things work and the pecking order, and doing background on commercial or on TV shows and stuff. Like, nobody's going to give you a job. It's hard to get an agent. If you have no experience, nobody's going to give it to you. If you have, some credits, you can get more opportunities, and it's kind of a snowball thing where one thing leads to another. And if I was telling if somebody asked me today, I'd tell them, don't move to California. There's too many other opportunities, like in the Southeast. Like, Atlanta's got so much work down there. I mean, that's where I work primarily. I hardly get anything out here anymore, but you have to have an agent. You just have to have an agent. There's no those stories of, oh, I got discovered at a coffee shop. This agent came up to me. Well, that agent wanted something else. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, somebody's going to want something from you. But I mean, you got to do your research, and nowadays it's so different with everything being online. There was nothing. I read books. Like, I read books on like how to be an actor in LA. And there was like literally books like that you could buy. I read them front to back and tried to absorb everything I could. I had them in Hollywood, in my room back in Nebraska. And I had little pins of places I wanted to go, and thought, oh, agency here, I'm going to go there. It's not like you think it's going to be at all when you get here. And it is a finicky, rough world that if you're not mentally strong, it'll tear you down quick. And a lot of people tuck tail and head out like a year tops. And
you've been there for 22 years.
22 years, yeah. And it's come with its rewards, but it's also come with just, I mean, a lot of hard work and just sticking it out. And you've got to be multifaceted. You have to have another source of income. There are people that are fortunate that don't, but I don't know a whole lot of them.
And then another question: you've played a lot of cops and firemen and stuff like that in a lot of these shows. Is there a reason for that, do you think?
Originally when I went to, my brother was a cop for 20 years in Santa Cruz, and most little brothers, I idolized my brother, and I wanted to be a cop too, not just because he was. It's just something instinctual I had, and people gravitate towards certain things. I worked as a security guard through college. I worked up at Bryan Hospital. I was there. I was telling somebody recently, I think it was another friend's podcast. I was there when Tom Osborne came up to visit Tommy Frazier when he had all his blood clots. That's how far back that was. So I just always this thing, I want to be a fireman when I was a kid. I don't know what triggered those things specifically. Probably TV shows, and yeah. I mean, I was a criminal justice major at Nebraska, and I switched to exercise physiology. I thought I would be a strength coach and work with Boyd Epley and the trainer of the Stars someday, and then I got the fact that I was no good at science, and I switched to theater, and I just kind of got bit with that bug, just doing classes and doing some theater at UNL and doing a lot of community theater at the Lincoln Community Playhouse, and got good opportunities there. Met great people, and just that's when I kind of started exploring the local commercials and just trying to do anything you could. You just want to get your hands dirty and work and learn, and it's a craft. It really is. It's just like a carpenter or somebody who builds something. It's like you're trying to build a career, and you've really got to have a foundation to start from. So
awesome. Well, Preston, I really appreciate having you on here tonight. I'm sorry that AD was unable to join in.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I'm sorry all the technical issues we had, but I just want to say I'm so happy for you, man. I think this is such a great format and a forum for you and AD to do this. I know I remember being a kid and we just sit around. You always talked football. You had all the football cards, and you had more knowledge than anybody else about football. We'd go and play, tackle football over at Madonna when there was a big green space over there, and you were never, honestly, it was funny, when you were a kid, you were not like that athletic. You were a shorter kid, and I think we probably picked on you a little. And then all of a sudden I remember getting to Southeast, and you like had a growth spurt, and I was like, what the heck happened to Raff? You just turned into a monster. You became this crazy good athlete, and I mean, you played a really football. You've done everything, coach. Like you really, football has become such. Obviously, it's been such passion years for so long. So I just want to say how happy I am and proud of you, man. This is really great for you guys, former players, to be able to talk about football, and I'm really happy and thankful to be on here. It's nice. We've known each other for so long to do something like this. So thank you.
Well, I really appreciate it, and thank you for coming on tonight. And like I said, when you get back into Lincoln, we'll get you on the show and get you in here to meet some of the guys here in the studio.
That'd be fantastic.
Love it.
Preston, have a great night, and we will throw it to break.
All right, thanks, man.
The ticket. KFXL weather brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Expect cloudy skies with an afternoon high of 57. Southeast winds at around 10 to 15. We'll see an increasing chance of rain late this afternoon into tonight with a low down to around 49. We will continue with a chance of showers and thunderstorms for our Thursday with a high of 54. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right questions. Join your new floor in just days. For less, pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
And now, poetry from the world of Yum. You need a treat, but not something predictable. Cookies, cupcakes, apple pie, it's all boringly typical. So here's a little rule of thumb. Take that income, avoid the humdrum, and get yourself to the world of Yum. The cakes are made for any celebration, every cause of elation, alongside every occasion. So get in your car. You would be remiss not to take that drive down to Beatrice.
Check out Grandma's fruitcake and all the delicious desserts at Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of Yum.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Hey, it's Nelson. Isn't it a great feeling when a company has your budget in mind instead of trying to squeeze it all out of you? That's why Caterpillar Vapes has been voted a fan favorite among premium e-juice, CBD, and Delta 8 customers year after year. And now they're here in Lincoln. Returning customers are always enjoying weekly deals and perks, and new Caterpillar Vapes customers get 50% off their entire first purchase. A company that cares about their customers. Crazy, right? In a hurry? Try the drive-thru. Caterpillar Vapes, 2601 North 11th Street, and online at caterpillarvapes.com.
Wedding season is underway. Stop wearing your fading, wrinkling shirts and update your wardrobe today at M Suits Clothiers in Lincoln. M Suits has men's clothing for every occasion, from business to leisure to weddings and formals. And they've been chosen by Lincoln as best of men's clothing for 4 years running. The buying process is quick and easy with personal service that's hard to find. And they're family owned, where you are also treated like a part of the family. M Suits Clothiers, just south of 56th and Pine Lake on Red Rock Lane.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Now back to Riffin with Raff and AD on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back again. Wednesday night, Riffin with Raff and AD. Just wrapped up a interview with Preston Hillier. He also wanted to let the listeners know that he has a show coming out on Hulu, and it's called Candy, and it's on May 10th. So if you want to see Preston in action other than in a Ozempic commercial, check him out on Hulu May 10th for Candy. AD, my brother, what is up?
How's it sound, brother?
Perfect. Woo-hoo-hoo!
I love it, man. I love it. Dude, you did a heck of a job in that interview. Like I said, I was listening as I was driving, and after obviously I tried to call in once I got to my location. That didn't work, but I was still able to pull it on the app. Great app, by the way. DP and the crew are getting that working because that helped me out quite a bit to keep up track what was going on. Rav, how far did you guys go back, man? Since kids, right?
Oh yeah, it's probably grade school. I think I went to Holmes Elementary, and I believe he lived like maybe a block or two away from Holmes. So yeah, he's a year younger than I was. So I didn't even get a chance to ask him about the hidden tapes back when we were in our younger years. It was back when the handheld VCR cameras were big.
That joker was a slide into my luggage. It was this big.
Yeah, we used to do, or him and some buddies, they used to do these like 15-minute skits, 10-minute skits. I mean, they were funny. And I've asked him a couple times if he still has them. I think he still does, but he said those babies are locked away forever. So the public will never see those great videos.
You know what, Rav? I was doing kind of like I said, just our
you just missed
for tonight.
He said they're burned up.
They're burned up.
Yeah.
I was doing some prep work for tonight and just doing some background on him, and it's a cool beginning because a lot of it relates to sports and how you get some athletes that aren't very vocal in the classroom, or in social settings, but you put them in their element. You put a bat and a glove in their hand. You give them a golf club. You give them a bowling ball. You give them a balance beam. You put a football in their hand or on a football field, and another person comes out. And I was reading about him how he said he was incredibly shy, and how he'd get that camcorder and he would just, when you guys were little and his other friends, he would just do skits and do plays, and then he got involved with theater classes, and then he made the big jump to LA in 2000. And as you know, just like in football and athletics, once you put yourself out there, it's a dog eat dog. Either you want it or you don't. He was, bussing tables, security guard, and bartending, all to pursue his dream. And we see that with our collegiate athletes right there at University of Nebraska and all the different sports complexes they're at. They're all busting their tail. And a question, I sent it into the text, guys. I read this about him, and it correlates to sports and to life. But a reporter asked him, "What advice would you give budding young actors looking to be successful?" He said, "This is I'm from Preston. Be prepared and ready for constant rejection. Be prepared and ready for constant rejection." Raff, that is a major thing that's done in athletics. You are going to, in fact, you think about this. First of all, there is no perfect game. Okay. Well, listen, bowling, you bowl a 300 every time you get the bowling ball in your hands. That's not likely. All right. There's going to be some times to where there's going to be there's some pins still up. There's going to be some times where there are some drop balls in football. There's going to be some time there's missed tackles. There's going to be some time there's some unforced errors in baseball. There's going to be time to where someone on the balance beam or doing the floor exercise, they're not going to hit they're not going to hit their landing perfect. That's your genre. But there's always going to be these things that are forms of rejection, or their performance was not up to par where they wanted to be. And the beautiful advice that Preston gave here, he says the yeses will come, but just know because you didn't get this role, it's not personal. Doesn't mean you weren't good enough for that one, just means you go in a different direction. And he says, study, get into class, and do the work. And I remember him mentioning, he would, go to the library, get books. Here's my thing. I've asked for Sean this on the ticket too. I've asked him this question, or just made the statement. And I made the statement to my own kids, when they're not if they don't feel they're performing well in a certain area, whether it's academically, on their job, whatever it may be, I always say, if your schoolwork, if your craft, your workouts, if they match the same intensity you do with social media, what would your performance look like? If the same energy, the same smoke you bring to social media, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, I can go on and on and on. Call of Duty on video games, and nothing wrong with those things. But if you bring that same energy to your workouts, to studying your playbook, to working on your craft in the classroom, what would those results look like? I thought that was very poignant that Preston mentioned. You keep learning, you keep studying. If you want this thing, you have to have a hunger. I said it last week, and I programmed it into my phone. I wrote it in my journal. AD, do your actions match your words? If you want something bad enough, do your actions match it? Because everybody can talk. We see when the recruits, they announce their schools, and there's these hype videos and all those things like, oh man, I can't wait. That's great. That's the easy part. What about when no one's watching? In the weight room, in practice, when you got some extra time, are you pulling up some film? Coach Joseph was talking about there was players back when he first arrived that were on the chalkboard writing down, writing their different routes. See, that's what it takes. Coach Brown mentioned this on VJ's show a couple weeks ago. Championships are won in crowded stadiums when you do the work in empty stadiums. Championships and great performances are won and performed in crowded stadiums once you've done the work in empty stadiums. And Preston really he resonated with that when he mentioned that. I was like, man, that's powerful. He's on the Magnum PI shows now. He's on these different shows, the indies and the films. He's meeting the Al Pacinos, going to get his car, things like of that nature, because he did things in the dark when no one was watching, studying this craft, reading the books, going to casting calls, rejection, getting coaching for his craft. Now he's here. Oftentimes people see the success, but they didn't see the process. The rejections, the head down like this, they didn't see that. So I just thought it was a powerful interview tonight, man. I really did. I was well done. And I want to thank Preston. I wish I could have been on for it, but I didn't miss a beat listening to it as I was getting here to my destination, man.
Well,
what did you get out of
it? It was great. I enjoyed it. Some of the stuff I knew about him already, but just very just what he's done is just amazing. I mean, he was on General Hospital, AD. General Hospital. I mean, that right there makes him a legend in my eyes. I'm just like, he was on the greatest television daytime show in the history of the world, Sonny Corinthos. He delivered Sonny Corinthos' baby, Sonny and Carly.
See,
wow.
I don't ever watch. I've never watched soap operas, so I'm assuming that was the creme de la creme of soap operas, General Hospital. I've heard of it, but I just never been a soap opera. So I guess that was one of the best ones out there, right?
Yeah, it was really good. I blame it on my mom because back in the day, I still would get out at like 1:50, go home from 2 to 3. General Hospital is on, so standing
So you
here,
gonna blame it on Mama Raff?
Yep, 30 years later or whatever, and here I am still watching General Hospital. But now they got the DVR, so we can DVR it now. So what I usually do is let it run for about 3 months, and then I catch up all in one night, or a lot of fast forwarding going on because usually it's all the same.
Speaking of DVR and watching series, you got me turned on. We'll get to some Husker football here in a second too, and the different things that happen there. You got me turned on to the show, Showtime, the Lakers story. And on HBO, man, I binge watched that thing. And obviously, it's Hollywood too. No pun intended against Preston, but they're going to sensationalize some things, and they're going to have their liberty to add things to make it more Hollywood, if you would. Which I get that. That's fine. But it was a great show, man. A great series, man. I loved it.
One more episode coming up on Sunday, I think, the season finale.
And then so that would be season 1. So I'm sure that's going to be about when they play the Sixers in the championship in 1980.
Yep, correct.
79-80 season.
So that'll be the season finale, and I'm guessing there'll be a season 2 because you probably can play that all the way out until when did he come HIV positive? 89. So they could technically run it for 9 years if they wanted to, because he was. I mean, there were some crazy times out there, and it's amazing when the Lakers are good out there, just the aura that's out there. Like,
yeah,
I went out there when they won, Kobe's the final time they'd won the championship or whatever with Kobe. And it's just like all the clubs and stuff, Lakers. But then I've also been out there too when they've been horrible and you don't hear people.
Think about the Lakers, man. There's so many other things for people to do. So if you're not relevant, they ain't going.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine if the Lakers are really good next year and USC is really good next year? And I'm not knocking UCLA, but it's kind of a USC type city. And UCLA's there too. But imagine if all three of them were good. Heaven forbid. Good Lord, that city's gonna be
good. So yeah, you got a crazy city going on. And the Rams, everybody forgets about the Rams.
Yes, absolutely. Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, Rams, Chargers. I mean, that town is loaded. I mean, they have got Dodgers, Rams,
Angels.
Yeah, you got. I never can say his name right. I still think Mike Trout's probably the most under-publicized superstar in the history of sports. I think that guy in any other baseball generation would be the Reggie Jackson, the Mickey Mantle, I would almost say the Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds. I mean, even though their names are not looked at great in today's world, but back in the 90s, I mean, you didn't miss an at bat of Barry Bonds, especially at the end of the year. It was like, oh, Barry Bonds is coming back up to play. Got to watch it, But I feel bad for Mike Trout.
Well, imagine if there were social media when Sammy Sosa and McGwire were going for that home run derby. What would have been going on, bro? I mean, it'd have been nuts. It'd have been nuts. It'd have been
probably
nuts.
Probably wouldn't have been good for me and you, but it would have been nuts.
Dude, let's talk some Husker football, man. As we close this up for tonight, we got to pay some bills yet?
Yep, we can do it. Let's pay some bills right now, then come back and talk Husker football.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, we'll throw it to break and we'll be right back with Riffin with Raff and AD.
Wedding season is underway. Stop wearing your fading, wrinkling shirts and update your wardrobe today at M Suits Clothiers in Lincoln. M Suits has men's clothing for every occasion, from business to leisure to weddings and formals. And they've been chosen by Lincoln as best of men's clothing for 4 years running. The buying process is quick and easy with personal service that's hard to find, and they're family owned, where you are also treated like a part of the family. M Suits Clothiers, just south of 56th and Pine Lake on Red Rock Lane.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Afternoon high of 57. Southeast winds at around 10 to 15. We'll see an increasing chance of rain late this afternoon into tonight with a low down to around 49. We will continue with a chance of showers and thunderstorms for our Thursday with a high of 54. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
Spring is here. Are you giving your yard the best chance at being healthy and green? Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn to get your sprinklers ready to go for the season if they haven't been working properly. They're also scheduling installs for new sprinkler systems if you don't have one, so make sure you contact them early to get a bid as soon as possible. Plus, they're your one place to go for 5-step fertilizer and pesticide application and lawn aeration. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215.
Tune in every Monday morning throughout the summer at 6:45 a.m. for golf course reviews on the Nebraska Golf Passport Early Break Golf Tour with Jake Sorensen and Steve Sipple on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker fans, continue to support the Nebraska softball team during Fan Appreciation Weekend this Friday through Sunday. The team hosts Indiana in a 3-game series with giveaways each day. On Friday, the first 500 fans receive a water bottle. Come out Saturday and be one of the first 500 fans to receive a blanket. And on Sunday, if you're one of the first 500 fans, you'll get yourself a pint glass. For more information on the game, visit Huskers.com. Get your single game tickets now at Huskers.com or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Now back to Riffin with Raff and AD on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back again. Wednesday night, Riffin with Raff and AD. We got AD with us somewhere down in, where are you at, Missouri, Springfield, or where are you?
I'm in Springfield, Illinois.
Oh, Springfield, Illinois.
Yesterday was Columbus, Ohio, and New York, and now I'm in the land of Lincoln.
Yeah.
Hey, our buddy John Goodwin just sent me a text, Raff. You know what he did, man?
No.
He said, "Sit back because your nose is too big. You're dominating the whole screen."
Trying to eat the microphone. I was trying to eat the microphone. I was hungry.
Oh, what I'm gonna do to him is say to him, I can't say on air, so I'm gonna let it ride this time, John Goodwin. Hey, speaking of things that were big news this week, a week ago this time, our coaching staff was pretty concerned about our D-line. It's amazing what happens in a week, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What do you think the signing of Mathis and the other gentleman, I forget the other gentleman's name that came from Texas Tech. It's going to hit me.
Devin Drew.
Devin Drew. How do you think that changes Nebraska's D line? Now, think about this. First of all, go to those guys. How do you think, in particular, O'Shea, because he's got what, one to play 2 years straight, or just 1 year?
I think he's got 2 years, but I think his goal is to be out in 1.
Be out in 1. And he mentioned, though, that it wasn't about the money, it was about familiarity. And his mom, and when mama gets on board, that's a good thing. Okay. His mom mentioned it was never about, the money, etc. It's about they spoke to them as individuals and not a product. And I thought that was big. She said the whole coaching staff met him. Now, this kid he could have gone pretty much anywhere he wanted in the country and chose Nebraska. And also said that he appreciated that Applewhite was here, the TCU's former running backs coach, who's here at Nebraska now. And he mentioned he also talked to Casey Thompson, former quarterback at Texas. How big of an impact do those two make here at Nebraska now, man?
I'd say they've got the opportunity. They have definitely got the opportunity. I saw a thing today. It's either are we hungry or are we starving? If we're hungry, we're going to do the things, to be good. But are we starving? Are we going to go above and beyond? And so I'm hoping that Nebraska football team is starving and they go into the off season starving and they continue the fall starving. So I want us to be starving. I don't want us to be hungry. I want us to be starving.
See, there's been times that me and you both, and by choice, thankfully, we've just gone to bed hungry because we were lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like getting up, or I'll get something in the morning, or I'll drink some more water. See, and those are characteristics you can't have if you want to be a championship caliber program. You have to be starving, okay? Meaning you are going to find a way to find something to eat no matter what it takes. You will get out of that slumber of bed that we can get in psychologically at times, because when you're just kind of hungry, it's like, yeah, when people say I could go for something to eat, that doesn't show me you're starving. When you're starving, you're looking, you don't care what it takes, you will find food. You will eat. Ezekiel, when he always goes like this after a run for the Cowboys, which he didn't have a whole lot of them. Sorry, Cowboys fans. But nevertheless, he would go like this. He was ready to eat. Nebraska, as you mentioned, Raff, we have to be starving, doing whatever it takes to eat, man. Whatever it takes.
Definitely. And I saw that today. I got to give credit to Louis Carella. He's the what is he? Why am I forgetting the word? Like Boyd Epley. What was Boyd Epley's title? I'm forgetting everything now. Like Zach Duvall, the workout, the weightlifting director or whatever. He was at Buffalo, but now he's at Georgia Tech. But he puts out his little 30-minute or 30-second videos, kind of like the 30 seconds with AD, 30 seconds with Louis Carella. So
I loved it. What do you think? Now, I'm trying to think about this, Chief, like in a real deep way. Do you think we land those guys of KC Rogers and the other gentleman that went to Oregon? Do you think we still land these two if they're here? Because the portal giveth and it taketh away. So I think if KC Rogers stays here and forgetting the other young man's name, it hit me in a second because he also went to Oregon, Jordan Riley. So when Jordan Riley left, KC Rogers leaves. Do you think these two come here if they still stay here?
I think one of the two would have came, but I think both of them probably not, but definitely one of them would have been here.
And see, that's the thing about the transfer portal.
Either if we have one more person come in before season starts.
Because right now, I think isn't there where's the young man from that's thinking about that has Nebraska? He's Texas. Where's he from? What school?
Florida, Lamar Goods.
Lamar Goods, because he's considered Nebraska as well, isn't he?
Yep. He's got an official visit, I believe, scheduled to come up here. So
May 13th through the 15th or something like that.
I think so. Not 100% sure on that, but I believe so.
Just as the portal, you can lose players, you can gain players as well. Okay. I want you to think about this, Raff. Maybe this is something for next week, but I want you to think about this. Can you establish and build culture with transfer players every year? Can you build culture that way? Now, granted, we're going to utilize it, but can you build culture when guys don't come in day one, understand the Nebraska way, how we want to do things? Can you build culture, or are those short-term fixes?
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting dilemma for the future of college football. Just another one of the many things that they have on their plate. Because it's like Kentucky.
And I'm not going to share too much.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it's like Kentucky with the way they started the one and dones, and they had 1 year where they won the national title, but since then they really haven't done much. And it seems like the teams in the NCAA tournament now are the ones that have been together, or not the teams, but the ones that are winning have been together for a little while. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, and especially with football, where you're not dealing with just 5 guys on the court, you're dealing with 11 guys and offense, defense, special team. You got a lot of. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next, I'd say, 5 years. It's like you always say, we're not going to know nothing until probably 3 to 5 years down the road.
Yeah, I think it's a thing to where, and I'm not going to put the cat out of the bag yet because it's something I want to discuss next week. I think it is something to where you're going to have to wait 3 to 4, maybe 5 years before you kind of see the impact of it. Obviously, it's a great way to fill immediate needs. These are needs that we need right away, in particular on the D line. Obviously, getting some great wideouts. I was looking today, even now that I'm switching to the pro a little bit, but I was even looking how these things help. When you have speed that we've acquired at Nebraska right now, it's a game changer. And then you have a quarterback on Casey Thompson and Bubba that can throw the rock and run the rock. It's a game changer. I mean, it changes things up dramatically. And I know you're going to be looking at me laughing here in a sec, Raff, but I want to show this. I just want to bring this up to you. The speed that Pittsburgh, I know I had to bring it up. It wasn't going to be long before I brought up my Steelers. Can you hear me okay, Raff?
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Go Steelers.
Okay. Yeah, I figured you'd get quiet when I brought up the Steelers. But the speed that they have available right now, Juju Smith-Schuster, 4.54. James Washington, 4.54. Ray McLeod, 4.53. Here are the new guys. George Pickens, 4.47. Calvin Austin III, 4.32. Miles Boykin, 4.42. Speed changes things. And then you're going to have someone like the Pickett that can throw the rock. It changes a lot. You look at Nebraska right now. We know what type of arm that Thompson has. We know what the young man that brings from LSU, know the guys we have there right now. I'm excited. I mean, like crazy excited. I trust, but I want verification too. And what I mean by that, I trust what's going on down there right now. I trust they're busting their tails, but I want verification, like you mentioned, they're not just hungry. I want them to be starving. I mean, like panting for success and panting for it. That's what I want to see.
Exactly. Well, AD, we will let you get back to your wonderful night there in Springfield, Illinois, and want to thank Preston Hillier for coming on the show with us tonight. And we will see you all next Wednesday on Riffin with Raff and AD. Have a great night, everyone.
Have a great week.